What if the man leading your prayers was also leading the dead? This is the story of Pastor Mutura, a man loved by a village, feared by the old, and hunted by something no one dared name. In a small, dusty town outside Kitui, Kenya, where the sun sets red and the trees hold whispers, something ancient has returned. They say a boda rider found him. Blood on the bumper, banana leaves in the trunk, and inside, 4 human heads and 2 baby feet. What you're about to hear is not just a story. It's a warning. Because in Africa, not all ghosts live in graves. Some walk beside us in daylight, wearing robes, holding Bibles, and preaching salvation with a cursed tongue. Pastor Mutura wasn't always feared. In fact, he was a savior to many. Tall, calm, always dressed in white. He arrived in Kacheko village 7 years ago. After receiving a vision from God, he built a church with his bare hands. No funding, no donors, just his back, a hammer, and a hymn. People said his prayers could heal wombs, cure madness, bring rainfall. One man swears Mutura's touch cured his daughter's blindness. Another claims his goats stopped miscarrying after Sunday service. Word spread fast. From Wingi to Machakos, people came, but there were odd things. First, he never used a Bible. Only an old leather notebook filled with hand-drawn symbols. He called it his private gospel. Second, his church had no cross. Instead, a large circular stone sat at the altar with carvings no one understood. He told everyone, this is the seat of judgment, holy, ancient. Third, no birds ever perched on his roof, not even crows. Even when food was left there, they circled, then flew away. Then there were the night sounds. People living near the church claimed they heard chanting after midnight, deep voices, animal cries, and a baby wailing, even though no children lived nearby. Still, no one questioned him. After all, blessings flowed, and fear is quiet. But one person did worry. A retired elder named Wambua. He had seen such things before. In the 1980s, in tales whispered by his grandmother during famine, he once told his wife, "That man is no shepherd, he is a gatherer of things not meant to be gathered." His wife laughed. Wambua never did. It happened on a Wednesday. The wind was violent that night. Trees bent, dogs barked. The air felt wrong. John, a boda rider, was headed home after a late delivery. As he passed the church, he saw a parked car, lights off, engine hot. Curious, he slowed down. Then he saw it. A red line, like paint, dripping from the boot. He approached, opened the boot. He dropped his torch, then vomited. Inside, wrapped in green banana leaves, were 4 human heads. 3 men, 1 woman, eyes still open, mouth stuffed with charcoal. And beside them, a small calabash with 2 tiny blood-covered baby feet. He screamed, ran to the chief's house. Police were called. By morning, the news spread faster than wind. They arrested Pastor Mutura at his home, calm, not resisting. When asked what he was doing with the remains, he smiled and said, "They came willingly. The offering was accepted." At the station, he never asked for a lawyer, never looked scared, only whispered prayers in a language no officer understood. The media came, stories spread, headlines read, "Famous pastor caught with human heads." People gathered. Some cried, others denied. But one thing was clear. The car, the bodies, the blood were real. Still, his most loyal followers claimed it was a setup. One woman, Mama Nduku, shouted, "He saved my son from death. This is witchcraft, not from him, but against him." But Wambua, the elder, simply said, "The shadows have claimed what they were promised." To understand Pastor Mutura, you have to go back, way back. In 1943, a young boy in the same region vanished for 7 days. When he returned, he spoke in tongues, said he saw a woman made of smoke, wearing thorns for a crown. That boy was Mutura's grandfather. In 1983, a church burnt to the ground, no survivors, no cause found. A certain young preacher named Josiah Mutura was listed among the missing. That was Mutura's father. Locals believed the family line was cursed. that every 40 years a child was born with two spirits, one of light and one of shadow. They called it Mutongo wa Muitiki, the preacher who feeds the forest, a being that walks both in spirit and flesh, feeding on offerings, hiding behind hymns. Legend says he must collect 4 heads and the feet of an unborn child to awaken his true power, to speak to the elders below. It's believed the stone in his church wasn't just symbolic, it was a seal, a gate, a mouth, waiting to be fed. And Pastor Mutura, he wasn't just another false prophet, he was the prophecy. One strange fact stands out. None of the heads found in his car were ever identified by police. No family came forward, no missing persons matched. And the baby feet? No body was ever found. When asked for names, Mutura simply said they were born beneath the river. You wouldn't know them. In court, he refused to speak, only stared at the judge and whispered, "It is finished, the root has drunk, the stone will speak." The day before sentencing, he vanished from custody. The guards say the cameras went black, the cell was empty, door still locked, no footprints, only a feather made of ash. 1 month later, a church opened in western Uganda. The pastor, a tall man in white, soft voice, powerful sermons, no cross, just a round black stone at the altar. A Ugandan radio host interviewed him, asked his name. He smiled and said, "Mutura is only a name. The root has many branches." 3 days later, the church was abandoned. The host disappeared. Only his recorder was found. On the tape, a voice whispering, "I am the preacher of shadows. The forest remembers." Since then, whispers of sightings continue. Elders say the spirit of Mutongo Amuitiki can't die, only change faces. They say he preys on forgotten villages, poor towns, places with no cameras, only candles. So if you see a white-robed preacher with no Bible, no cross, and a round stone at his feet, run. Don't ask questions. Don't take the healing water. Don't look him in the eye, because if you do, your name might be next. So what have you learned, my friend? In a land rich with faith and riddled with fear, not every preacher is from the light. Not every miracle is holy, and not every curse wears bones. Some stories are more than just tales. Some warnings are real, and some legends walk among us. Still, Pastor Mutura was never proven guilty. He was never found, but his church remains sealed, silent. Birds still don't perch on its roof. So remember, the next time you walk into a strange church and see no cross, no Bible, only a smiling man and a stone altar, ask yourself one thing: is this the house of God or a mouth that eats the dead? Subscribe for more untold African tales. And remember, not all horror is fiction. Some is folklore. Some is fact.